Baba, 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 TV, 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 TV. Every time fire. Every time, every time, every time, every time, every time.
My man Pop, yo man, what inspired you, my brother, to write the lyrics that you're writing right now? You know, talk about that, cause you ain't on the nigga stick.
Yeah.
You're not dealing with the nigga mess. You are dealing with information that could raise the youth, raise the babies. What inspired you to start writing like that, brother?
Well, it actually stems back to my name. I mean, it stands for Pain United with Passion. So the inspiration comes from the pain. I have the passion to speak, and now I'm gaining the knowledge to put it in my lyrics. So I can actually put that message behind my lyrics to uplift my children and also my people in my hood. And the hood tour has to be done because we gotta touch the hood. We gotta touch our people.
I want to go to the gutter.
French Montana said that he feel that they are pushing the street rap to the side and they are becoming more conscious now. They are starting to spit more conscious lyrics.
I body that.
Do you agree with that?
I agree to a certain extent. The conscious lyrics and the conscious style is getting blown up because of us conscious artists. I mean, it's because of the Kendrick Lamars. It's because of that. The J. Cole is starting to get that recognition mainstream. But it's been mainstream here in the streets. It's been mainstream. You know. Let them body that.
You remember the 100 monkey theory?
Huh?
Yes, indeed.
You know about the law of correspondence as well?
Yes.
Meaning that if something is taking place on the grid thousands of miles away, the law of correspondence means so we've been activating the grid. This is New York City, which is the home of hip hop, right? Where French Montana is from. The way that the ancestors work, French Montana said that fly shit. I'm gonna address that. But the ancestors the next day put him in the presence of who? Polite.
That's right.
Polite. So he talking crazy, but then he was in the presence of one of our elite, one of our scholars, and he schooled him. He bodied him in the studio session. I didn't even see the footage, but I already know what Polite went in there and did. So French Montana saying that the industry is pushing conscious music. The streets is rising up. Consciousness is waking up. The grid is alive. The law of correspondence is saying that it's spark of Kendrick Lamar, that it's spark of Beyonce, that it's spark. These people, they don't exist.
Fred the Godson.
They don't
Fred
exist
the Godson made a song, Black Power.
Facts. They don't exist in a vacuum. None of them are waking up on their own. This is not something that's falling out the sky. They are feeling the frequency. Everybody understands that this shit is rising. If you online, over the last 5 years, you saw the online assault, the insurgency of consciousness on everybody's social media.
That's right.
You could have been a stripper, you could have been motherfucking Peaches, you know, with syrup dripping from the titties on Instagram every day.
Man, I know Beyonce was the last person you would have thought that would get up on top of a police car and the shit sink underwater. What was that message like right there?
So that goes back to what me and Sankofa was saying, that we from the hood, but we don't gotta go back to the hood because the hood is coming to us.
That's real.
Right?
Real talk. Real talk.
The hood is, we don't have to go backwards, we're going this way. Kendrick Lamar says to pimp a butterfly. That concept is genius because we are the caterpillars who are crawling on our belly, and now we got our wings based on what? Waking up. The wings is the consciousness, the wings is the knowledge, the wings is the spirit. So we flew away. We can't be caterpillars anymore, but now caterpillars see us with our wings and they want wings. They want to fly. Huh? And you can't pimp a butterfly. They want to fly. But we'll never, you can't reverse osmosis a butterfly. You can't go back to a caterpillar. Some of us have tried and they failed. So our job as butterflies in the gutters of Northwest America, in the wilderness, where our people are being stepped on like caterpillars, is to help them get our wings. That's what we're doing. So these artists are growing their wings and they flying. Shame on French Montana for saying some dumb shit like that, but I expect that, because once you deal with, it's like the block. When you fucking with my money, I'm gonna talk about it. So a lot of the people are not being, a lot of albums are not being sold anymore. Peace to the God. A lot of movements are not, they don't have the same steam anymore because you can't obey to God. So when this movement gains its steam, it's a street movement.
That's right.
It's a street movement, but it comes with a set of laws, and it comes with a set of dictates, and it comes with a set of golden rules, the same things that had the streets running back in the days. So you know that once we show up, you can't call a black woman a bitch. You can't call this person that. You can't live off of the, you can't treat your people like zombies.
Spit the lyrics.
You can't spit that whack shit no more. So yes, there's a level of nervousness. Anybody who saw Kendrick Lamar's demonstration at the Grammys and then the next day try to talk down on him is a fuckboy. Bottom line, you're not. How the hell did you see that take place? You a Roman. That you can't be anything, because if you African, you saw that was a battle call. The Carthaginian within you woke up. If you banging on that, you're a fucking Greco-Roman. Okay? Bottom line. And then you want to still sell coke to the people, dope to the people, pimp our women and things of that nature, but you know that those days are numbered. You know that your own shooters is going to turn.
That's right.
The shooters is here. They showed up. Or else they're here. So once that takes place, then the cleansing takes place and the cleanup takes place. And that's what they fear.
Can't come around with those black ass lyrics anymore. I'm gonna be the first to point them out. As soon as I hear someone spitting in front of me that's putting just words together, I call it noise now. Be like, turn that noise off. Because I can actually break down your lyrics and tell you ain't saying nothing. Nothing at all. I can sit here and tell you my lyrics and tell you exactly what it means and paint a picture in your mind. Paint a picture. Give you a story. Give you a lesson from it. These cats can't do that with their lyrics.
Yeah, and also, it's the responsibility of the artists to shape, mold, and motivate the culture. You know, James Brown would say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. That inspired a people. Marvin Gaye with What's Going On, they gave their social commentary, and that elevated. So too often artists are not doing that. So is Beyonce now in the crowd of Nina Simone, or is it too early to even try to say those two names together?
It is way too early to begin throwing all of these rose petals at her feet and saying that she has, walked in, that she's walking in the light of Nina Simone. But what we can say, to be very honest about it, is she broke the mold. At least she broke the mold. At least she could be now molded into what it is, because Nina Simone was, she was living around Malcolm X. They were in the same neighborhood, they were neighbors. So she was able to be molded by consciousness, by attending lectures and things of that nature. There are a group of artists that are motivated by Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter they don't hold lectures. I never read a book list that Black Lives Matter put out and said that this is what you should read. I never read a list of elders because they would honor those who came before them. They never published a list of elders who they honor and whose shoulders that they said that they're standing on. I'm only saying that to say that the artists that are inspired by activism have yet to get into the realm of consciousness, because those are two different things. You could be an activist, but you may not understand, like Nelly Fuller said, if you don't understand the intricacies of racism, white supremacy, then you don't know what you're dealing with.
Right, and I totally, I get the differences, and even maybe some of the weaknesses in the Black Lives movement, but they are doing and raising consciousness from their perspective. So, that's why. Yes, I didn't want to. I know you were just pointing out some of the things that the conscious community through this medium, and one of these mediums is private. And they may have even inspired the Black Lives Matter. You don't know where this stuff goes once it hits the airwaves.
It's viral, it spirals, and it does the work when you're not. When he's doing his push-ups, his 2,000, and getting right, his work, his video is doing the goddamn work. It's doing the push-ups on somebody's consciousness. It's putting pressure on ignorance. You feel me? While he's allowed, while he's doing what he has to do to create situations where he could take care of his needs, right, and his responsibilities, and he's creating resources out of his blood, sweat, and tears, and his work is doing the work, right? So yeah, we don't know what we can't measure in entirety the results of all of the works. We don't exist. We belong to a pantheon, right? We belong to a pantheon. Something that Dr. Sebi did in the 80s could be working right now in the now, right? And then that person could get that spark, and then that leads them. So now we created a web, right? We created a network, a web of nodes of consciousness where people might start out watching Dave Chappelle. I make a joke about that sometimes, but I know some people that woke up watching the Chappelle show. And I know some people that woke up watching Boondocks, right? And it sparked the interest. It woke up a dormancy in them. The same way when I was younger, I watched Eyes on the Prize, right? And I watched blaxploitation films, and I was like, yo, my father has an afro. So I had my point of reference to men who was wearing an afro was watching men with afros beat white people up in a blaxploitation film. They was kicking ass. So I was like, yo, my father's part of that rebel, anti-establishment thing, and that's how he kind of raised us. You dig what I'm saying? So whatever our people are exposed to in popular culture is great, because you start with popular culture, but when the underground, right? When the unseen, the underground, the raw, when you get a whiff of that, because it took me a long time to get to the lecture circuit. I started out with the David Icke, Illuminati, and conspiracy theories, and then that led me to a group of brothers who were teaching, and they were shattering all of that, and then that brought me into consciousness. So whatever route a person has to take, like he said, like Saint Kofa said, we are all on a path of enlightenment. I took a detour and stopped it into consciousness. I took it on my path of enlightenment into the world of consciousness, and I'm still on my path, but I know now I'm meeting brothers and sisters who are also on the path in these days and times. It's almost biblical.
Exactly.
It's mythological in a sense.
And then you weren't here when we were speaking of earlier, and part of being on the path is not having to disrespect someone else who may be at an earlier stage in their development, or may even be on a parallel but a different path. We got to understand that we all are on a journey, and you don't know what twists or turns, but if you are sincerely pursuing the truth from your intent, you will be guided. When the student is ready, the instructor, the master will appear and guide you along the way.
You can't receive lessons from a teacher who's teaching lessons like adept lessons, where you got to come into an adept chamber and you have to raise up degrees. You can't necessarily get the teachings from a teacher if you try to force it aggressively, or if you're passive aggressive with your approach, or if you're trying to challenge that person to teach you some of the jewels and the gems that they have within there. They're gonna look at you like you goofy. Like, what are you talking about? And they might throw they might not even throw a pearl at you. They might throw bombs at you as a result of that. So a majority of the people that I know, I'm not including myself because I wasn't born Christian, right? My mother wasn't and my father wasn't. But a majority of the people that I know were born Christian. What I was I took my Shahada in 1990, right? At my aunt's house, A. Rashid's mother, God bless her. And I became Muslim then, and I began studying that. Then from there, I evolved into something else. Then from there, I evolved into something else. Then from there, I was introduced into consciousness, right? Via the lecture circuit, metaphysics and all of that. Then I was introduced into Moorish science because I caught a case. Then I was introduced into my heritage and my history and all of these other things as I began to study. Then I went to a powwow. Then I got into the occult, the unseen, because I saw some things and I was like, wow, I can explain that. So it's almost akin to our journey from elementary school to higher learning. Some of us choose to take a master's degree. You can't clown your elementary school teacher when you're a high schooler. You don't necessarily clown your high school teacher when you get into a high level course of your PhD. You say, God damn, now that I know this, I'm gonna go back to high school and spit in my teacher's face because I know more now. You don't do that. So you don't do that in consciousness.
That's true. I mean, if you're a mathematician, okay, you're excellent at math, you don't look down upon somebody or clown somebody because, you know, they're just learning basic arithmetic. Because you had to learn that first to get to the level of mastery and being a mathematician that you are at that point. And I think everything correlates. The same thing pertains to like how you were saying. Everything goes through a procession cycle, a process. And in a process, it takes different shapes, molds, and forms that is essentially necessary for you to develop and bloom into what you're predestined to be. Okay? So on this journey, this quest for knowledge, because knowledge is vast. A lot of people say the truth. We got the truth. I don't understand. I mean, I don't know if they understand the impact of the totality of what is composed of truth. Truth is vast. Truth is broad. Truth is infinite, in fact. Because truth goes on and on and on. There is more that you don't know in life than it is what you do know. People are discovering new things and developing into technology because of more knowledge to advance themselves at another point. So yeah, even with technology, look at the old cell phone. Right. And look at how it is now. I think the same thing correlates with everything. Even with us, we evolve in our consciousness. And we re-evolve. Right. Re-evolve, revolution.
And some people devolve.
And that's evolution. That's true too. Revolution, re-evolve. So by you re-evolving, meaning constantly changing, and the only thing that stays the same is change.
That's the only thing
that is re-evolution, or a revolutionary is a person who goes through different schools, masters different knowledge, and develops into his full potential.
Facts.
So I had to go through my different schools and paths. My path may not necessarily be your path.
Facts.
But everybody has a path. The path of multiplicity. There is no one way to arrive at a certain destiny. Okay? Everybody's not going to have the same journey, but we're all embarking on one. So when other people are on a level of consciousness that's might not be inclined with yours, or you feel is not important, according to how your worldview is or your perception of that doctrine is, you know, you don't never just want to knock that down. One of the signs of an enlightened or a conscious person is maturity and humility, discipline. You don't always have to disagree with somebody because you don't agree with their doctrine. There's a way to even agreeably disagree. Yeah, in the platform, we see the brothers and stuff going back and forth and all that. At the end of the day, it's love. You know what I mean? Me and this brother right here don't agree on everything, but we have a core agreement. And we have what we agree upon. And that is that our people, it's time for us to rise up. We're contributing to that by rising up the consciousness, by coming out here consistently, bringing information to the people. Yeah, we went on different paths to get there, but we arrived at the same destiny. Doing basically the same thing because we want the same outcome for the people, which is liberation. People are different. That's why you have different irises, different fingerprints, a different DNA. So people, their journeys are going to be different. So you can't.
That they live in, they exposed to different things.
That's right.
Based on the regions, they exposed to different things.
Their psychology predicated upon the region that they come from. The foods that they eat.
Exactly.
The the access to vitamins, vegetation, or the lack thereof that they have develops into the clothes that they wear, the language that they speak, the art that they reflect, and they defines their psychology, which develops into their culture.
And I got an example. I just want to piggyback on that. I use health and fitness as an analogy. You want to get in shape, be fit. There are several roads. You can do weights, you can do calisthenics.
I do calisthenics.
You can do yoga. You can cycle. You can swim. You can jog. But the key is your journey will get you to health. Whichever one you apply with discipline.
Destination health. Optimum health.
Yes, but
many roads.
Word heal is in there.
Now, man, weights is the only way. Swimming is the only way. But you can have those as your particular path. But there are many different roads. So I think that's a good analogy for the point that you were making.
That's true.
I want to go to this book.
I do all calisthenics though.
The Lost Keys of Freemasonry, Manly P. Hall. Okay.
That's powerful.
There's this verse that I always like to go to called the Master Mason, right? When we sat at the feet of the elders, this is my this is the instructions that I was given.
Yeah.
It told me to revolve around the sun 40 times to be considered, because I'm not of age. I can't necessarily say that I'm 40, but I've gone around that cycle 40 times. As a result of that, I could honestly say on camera that I know what they talk about at being able to be a master at 40. Like, my life literally began to change overnight. You are considered a master mason. I'm not a mason as in a card carrying Masonic. I'm not in a fraternal lodge. I aspire to be a part of a fraternal lodge of my brothers, an unseen hand, but we're not chartered. I don't want to be chartered to a Freemasonry, a Prince Hall, or York, or Scottish Rite kind of secret society. But I understand that, brothers, you know, we already are a part of a secret society. We already are part of a fraternal order inside of what is known as the conscious community. Because when I travel, right, I see brothers who don't necessarily, you know, we never physically met, but they know me. You understand? And they know my mind. Like the brother was saying, they know we're on the same path. They know that our destination is the same, and we do things, and we are willing to do things for each other to get where we have to go. But the Master Mason is this. On the upper steps of spiritual unfoldment stands the Master Mason, who spiritually represents the graduate from the School of Esoteric Learning. In the ancient symbols, he is represented as an old man leaning upon a staff, his long white beard upon his chest, and his deep piercing eyes sheltered by the brows of a philosopher. He is in truth old, not in years, but in wisdom and understanding, which are the only true measurement of age. Through years and lives of labor, he has found a staff of life and truth upon which he leans. He no longer depends upon the words of others, but upon a still voice that speaks from the heart of his own being. There is no more glorious position than a man may hold than that of a master builder, who has risen by labor through the degrees of human consciousness. Time is the differentiation of eternity devised by man to measure the passes of human events. On the spiritual planes of nature, it is the space or distance between the stages of spiritual growth, and hence is not measurable by material means. Alright? Many a child comes into this world a Grand Master of the Masonic school, while many a revered and honored brother passes silently to rest without having gained admittance to his gate. The Master Mason is one whose life is full, pressed down and brimming over with the experience he has gained in his slow pilgrimage up the winding stairs. But what is most important is what experience. That is the only thing that matters on this plane of existence. And for Malkuth, this physical existence, it is experience. So I have a multitude of experience, a plethora of experiences by being in schools where my Kemetic brothers and sisters have been. Being in schools with my red, black, and green Pan-African, you know, frontline soldiers. Being in schools with my Moorish scientists. Being in schools with my occultic brothers and sisters. Being in all of these different schools of thought and knowledge that I could walk into each one of them now and sit at the table with all of the elite of these societies. I have some of the best experiences in this lifetime right now. So I could leave today. They could take me out. Look, some shit could fall on me right now. I'm good because my experiences have created what you see before you, and that's a master builder. All right, so that's my journey.
Powerful, brother. And I want to add on too, there's, you know, because there's knowledge. The knowledge is supposed to be rooted in a type of discipline and a moral essence to it. You know, I like Bruce Lee, one of my favorite martial artists. You know what I mean? And he's a great philosopher too.
As well.
And he was a master of a technique called Jeet Kune Do. You know, and I like the philosophy that he had behind that. Because see, martial art wasn't just a fight. It was a physical discipline. It was a psychological and emotional balance is the discipline that came out of what you develop into. You know what I mean? Tai Chi, I believe means a circle with no circumference. You know, same thing with the knowledge. When you're on a path of enlightenment, you really can't put enlightenment in a box. You will go through different journeys to come to ultimate enlightenment, and religion does that. So that's why people are spiritually enslaved. Yeah, the white man doesn't just have to physically or mentally enslave you. Sometimes your limited scope and idea of the broader, bigger picture out there, and how enlightenment can't be bought can also enslave you.
Facts.
You know what I mean? There are many types of slaveries. Slavery doesn't always just mean, or enslavement doesn't always just mean the shackle with the chain on the plantation in Alabama.
Yes.
Some people
that's chattel slavery and antebellum.
That's chattel slavery and the antebellum period.
Yes.
Exactly. Okay? Now, post-antebellum period, which is now, people can still be enslaved.
Consumer slavery.
Consumer slavery, a slave to your addictions, a slave to your lower desire, a slave to ignorance. You know what I mean? A slave to self-destruction, sometimes through conditioning, socializing into that. But the whole point is this: there are different forms of martial arts. There was Taekwondo. I did Taekwondo for years when I was young. You know, back in the 80s and stuff like that. I still got it though. You ain't gonna catch me slipping. You know what I mean? But there are Kung Fu. Monkey Kung Fu is another form of martial art. I took that up a little while too, back in '98. So the whole point of me saying that is there are different developmental techniques and disciplines that a person can utilize to get themselves in shape, to get themselves disciplined, and to prepare for this journey in life. That's what martial arts teaches you. But there is no one martial art technique that is the absolute truth.
Yeah,
I like what Bruce Lee did. He combined a lot of them. You know what I mean? That's what Jeet Kune Do was. Whatever that works, whatever that's usable and feasible that works. Okay? You combine them and make the best out of it. Now with the knowledge that we exhibit, because knowledge is not just limited to studying history, and a lot of us have to understand that. But they think being conscious is just studying history. No, that is one of the aspects and one of the subject matters that we must study in order to break many shackles.
Right.
But we also need to study science, politics, law, spirituality,
art.
Learn how the reflex nerve system works within your body. Develop muscle, develop physical discipline. You know, there's certain character that is supposed to come out of having the knowledge, not just having the knowledge and being able to just talk, because that is just mentally masturbating.
Can I add on real quick?
So these disciplines and this knowledge, that we are using were necessary to make us fit for our destiny as freedom fighters on the front line, our different paths and journeys. You know what I mean? So we don't knock other people's journeys, we don't tear down other people's belief systems, because there's a lot of good in people's doctrines, whether we believe it or not. What we do is, in order to establish, like I said before, a general consensus, we have to take things to task and cross-examine information just for everybody's best interest. Some people are meant to be Muslim. Some people are meant to be in this life or more. In this life or that specific part of their life might be meant to be a Hebrew Israelite. So what we want to do is teach and enlighten, not just always tear down. You can't go against the grain. But see, you learn that through wisdom, and that comes through discipline, and that comes through your journey, and that comes from evolving. Okay?
That's right. That's right. Peace to God. I just wanted to add on to what Sankofa was talking about what the information should do for your person, for the person who is studying it, or for the person who is attaining the information. What it's ultimately supposed to be doing is to help build character, okay, and restore integrity. So the reason why religions are effective to some people is because it helped them define a level of character within themselves, and it helped bring back a level of integrity that they lost, obviously, when they were dumb, deaf, and blind, or when they were ignorant to who they were, or when they were trapped in their lower self. So if this information is only be utilized so you can regurgitate historical facts, dates, names, locations, and things of that nature, but you fail in the department of character development, and your integrity is not intact, meaning that you are not a man of the word, meaning that you are not honorable, meaning that you are not who you say that you are, meaning that you just talk to fucking talk. You know what I'm saying? Meaning that you are behind, you know, that you are envious and jealous as a person, meaning that you are all kind of things that we are attaining not to be. Then, therefore, you would fall into the ranks of a charlatan. And one of the reasons why I could say this to the family, because when you view consciousness, or you view the personalities of the teachers in consciousness, what is one of the biggest turn-offs, or what is one of the biggest things that have people run away from a person? It's when you identify that this person is not character, they don't have a development development of character. Okay? Sometimes they see a flaw in one's character that's so fucking huge and so apparent that they're like, nah, I can't deal with that person because they don't have integrity. So how the hell will we want to go into any kind of political arena, or how the hell will we go into any arena where I'm putting my faith in this person, I'm putting everything on this person and I'm following them. And they have not shown that all of the studying that they did of all of the religions and all of the, because remember, you study history to avoid the mistakes made.
That's right.
So filtered and littered throughout history, that's what the books show you. The Quran, the Torah, the Bible, the 48 laws of power, anything. It's showing you people who have character flaws, and it's showing you, it's basically morals, the stories. What the moral of the story is, don't be like this nigga. The moral of the story is, don't let your lower self make decisions for you. The moral of the story is, don't let your desires overtake what it is that you know that's right. That's what these books show you. They are allegories in their stories, but they are predicated and built off of you being of good character.
You know, with knowledge, the whole thing is this too, right, Brother Red Bill? Information is supposed to do things for you. At first, it's supposed to help you, especially when we deal with the level of information that we deal with in the different disciplines, is to allow you, or to bring you to the level where you define and redefine and define what it is to be a better man or woman. You know, what it is to be a better black man or black woman, more specifically. You know, that's the whole purpose of this enlightening knowledge, is to help you define and redefine yourself. Okay? And at the end of the day, results always speak a lot louder than words. You know what I mean? What you're doing is you have services for the people. You're bringing this to the people. So within your message, you have the people looking conscious in their consciousness. You know what I'm saying? With the flying conscious gear. You know, you're traveling around, spreading the knowledge. You're about that life, like we like to say in the streets. You know what I mean? Why? Because we are on a mission to use this knowledge to spread the information to make sure that the bloodline gets stronger in the generations to come.
You know how much
we don't want to see a decline.
Yeah.
We want to see an incline. We want to see empowerment. We want to see improvement and advancement. Okay? Because even though we're on our journey individually, as a people collectively, we're on a journey. And we have to be spokes in the wheels turning of that journey. As teachers and proponents of people bringing the message here to break the shackles, to inspire, to inform, to advance us collectively. Our individual journeys were destined for us to be a part of that collective journey as a people.
Yeah, and going back to what you were saying about individual journey, because I've been doing a lot of consultations lately, and what I've been sharing with the family that I was consulting is, you're on your path.
That's right.
You being on your path means that when you're in your household, you're on your path. You can't tell the person in your household what to eat, or you can't necessarily tell your mother that Jesus this, Jesus that, Allah this, Allah that. They're not on that path. They were not chosen to be on that path. The spirit that's inside of you is not inside of them. You can't forcibly put it inside of anybody but yourself. That's why they say, if you want to change the world, what do you do first?
Change begins within.
It's the man in the mirror, because you got to walk through these paths, and you are the one who's responsible, because I'm looking at you. I was in your household, right? I hear you snore in your sleep. I probably saw you pee in the bed when you was younger. I'm trying to see what changes, what the hell is all of this information doing to improve you? Did you stop asking me for $20 every other fucking day? Huh? Did you put some food in the refrigerator? Because you're so enlightened, you're telling me that you're God. Did you come in with bags full of food to put in the refrigerator? Huh? For people that are in relationships, is the energy that you're emitting, does it feel better? Does it feel stronger? Does it feel more divine? This is something that women want to know. And men as well. Because you say that you're enlightened, that you woke up. Maybe, right, you're the black sheep of the family for a reason. Maybe there was only one damn sheep to begin with. There was you the black sheep for a reason. The whole damn house ain't a black sheep. You the black sheep. So you supposed to go out and show and prove. You supposed to go out and the white sheep want to see how other black sheep treat black sheep before they consider becoming a black sheep. That's where it rests on the shoulders of the community. So if you belong to a community who are enlightened and they are so improved and they're better than the Christians that are in your household, those Christians in the household want to see proof of that. So when you come amongst your people, you should be able to come back with some abundance. You should be able to come back and show prosperity. Don't talk that shit. Live it. Be it. And then people will begin to reconsider. Your children are watching. They're like, damn, daddy's beginning to take us out more, and he's beginning to show a little more abundance. He's a little more lighthearted. He's not that heavy on us anymore because this information is doing what? It's lightening it. It's supposed to lighten your heart as light as a feather, so it transforms you. So they're watching the caterpillar turn into a butterfly. Then you don't have to talk. Then they start coming to you and saying, yo, Dad, what's that shit you've been using? Your skin is beginning to glow a little brighter. What's that thing? So the caterpillar now wants to become a butterfly. So what do they always say? The teacher appears when a student is ready. That's when you start your shit. That's when you get into your consciousness all amongst your friends at the water cooler and in your household. Because you could lose people who love you if you step out before the time is right. If you think you got it and you ain't got it yet, you don't even got your wings yet, and you try to be all, Alibaba in the crib. Don't do that. You got to pay attention. Focus on your path, because if you don't focus on self, you're going to be worried about everything around you. You're going to be worried about what Polite is driving. You're going to be worried about what Umar is going to be next. You're going to be worried about what shoes Sanetta got on today. You're going to be worried about, what the hell is Red Pill doing, what new stuff he's making right now. You're going to be worried about how many push-ups Sankofa is doing today. You know what I'm saying? And you're not going to be focused on yourself. So you got to understand that it's about you. It's about bringing, and I'm not saying when you focus on self, you got to go against your brothers. You got to talk down to your brothers. You can't support your brothers. I never said that. I said that if you are only focused on outside of self, it is a form of Christianity and religion. It is a form of Islam and Allahness. You know what I'm saying? It is a form of Islamism. It's not a form of consciousness. It's not a form of enlightenment. Enlightenment deals with within, transformation from within. So that's all I have to say.
Revolution starts within and it spreads abroad. A true revolutionary impacts the world around him from the change that begins within. All right?
I wanted to leave one more example.
Okay. Well, hold on. Yeah, one more. Long way to be continued.
No, yeah, before I leave, the last example that I wanted to leave about the black sheep in the family is like in the movies when we see the warrior in the household, right? Like a movie like Gladiator.
Yeah.
He was the one. His wife wasn't a warrior and the baby wasn't a warrior. He knew as a warrior what he had to do. So when he would and the support system was the household, right? So knowing that you're a warrior, the household should be able to support you. But you don't have to turn the whole household into a warrior. You are the warrior. You are the conscious one. You are the black sheep. You go out and fight the war and come home with the victory. That's when they begin to conform. That's all I had to say.
Peace and black power. All right? Hey, I want to give a shout out to Baba TV. You know what I mean? Coming out here to Harlem, taking that journey from way up in Syracuse, to come down here. That's commitment. That's passion. That is love for this message, You know it. And that's real. And I want to just give you thanks for giving me the opportunity again to come out here before the camera to bring a message to the people. That's important to me. I thank you for that, and I'm very grateful. And you are my brother. And man, the debates are coming up March 20th. Okay, Brother Polite. Versus Rabbi Harry Rosenberg, the great debate. We're gonna have from Smack DVD, Smack from URL Underground Rap League, as the special guest moderator. It is gonna be powerful. All right, you don't want to miss this, people. Come on out. It's gonna be like edutainment. You're gonna be educated. You're gonna get the entertainment that comes with it. Okay. There's gonna be a lot of vendors there. Get your herbs, get your crystals, get some good vegan food, you know, get some alkaline water, get some revolutionary conscious clothes, you know. There's gonna be a lot of things. Meet somebody that you didn't know, exchange numbers. That's how unity begins. It begins realistically through communication. Then you talk about ideas, and then you unify based upon those ideas. That starts with coming together. By us having these events, it inspires people to come together. And out of that, the sky is the limit. In fact, the sky is not even the limit. Okay? So I want to say peace and black power. Shout out to Sarnetta TV, House of Consciousness, my big brother Sarnetta, and to you, the viewership out there. Keep studying, keep learning. The sky is not even the limit. Black power.